Paranormal in Pennsylvania may discuss topics such as suicide, murder, and other potentially upsetting things. Listener discretion is advised. Hello, and welcome to Paranormal in Pennsylvania,
where we discuss history and haunts.
Today's story takes us to Eastern PA to a powder keg. I'm Sarah.
And I'm David.
Let's get into it. It's the Black Powder Tavern. Dun-dun-dun. Okay.
Is that like gunpowder?
I'll leave the dad jokes to you. You're better at them. So we went here for lunch with our spooky friends from Horror Hour with the Hannahs, and it was pretty good. The food was pretty good.
Yeah, it was good. I got a whiskey flight there too. That was good.
Yeah, it was very, very busy because it was, I think, this Saturday before Christmas, and they had a Christmas brunch that day that we didn't know about. So we were lucky to even get a table. I'm happy they could accommodate us, but it was very, very busy. So when we talk about the hauntings and what our experiences were, that will definitely come into play. So history. All of the history for this comes from the Black Powder Tavern website itself. The building has been active since 1746, and it originally served as a stagecoach stop. As the Revolutionary War began stirring, it became a meeting place for George Washington, Marquis de Lafayette, and others. There actually have food items there named after people like Lafayette. Wasn't it Lafayette soup? The French onion soup that I got? Yeah. Is cute because he's French. Get it? So according to local legend, Frederick von Steuben, a local figure in the Continental Army, used the tavern as a secret black powder munitions stash. Hence, the tavern gets its name, the Black Powder Tavern. That's why I also made the powder keg joke that no one will get till now. So, during this time, the tavern still operated and provided food and shelter to travelers because they didn't want anyone to know that they were storing all of the munitions in the basement.
Yeah, if you're a stagecoach stop and all of a sudden you stop being that,
yeah,
it might raise some questions. But you still see a bunch of people going in and out of it. What are you guys doing?
Suspicious.
Just a little sus.
Yeah. The tavern is located in Valley Forge, which makes it the perfect location for both meeting and equipment storage. And they did, like you're saying, they did use the guise of it being a tavern and a stagecoach stop to meet without being suspected of having political meetings. So some things suggest that they would talk in code, etc., but they could just say that they were getting lunch together at the tavern. And today the tavern is still operating, and you can visit it from 11:30 to 9 daily, and I definitely suggest making a reservation.
Yeah, it seems like they're busy often. They do have complimentary, oh my gosh. Valet, thank you. Wow, that should not have been that hard.
But their parking lot's not that big. We self-parked.
Yeah, I mean, if you self-park, it's a short walk. And then they also do, I believe it's every second Tuesday of the month. Don't quote me on the exact day, or exact week, but once a month, they have a history dinner. So where you try cuisine and such from that time back around the Revolutionary War, and they do history and learning.
Yep, that's actually my next bullet point was they offer both historical and paranormal investigation dinners. So you can hear from local historians and local paranormal investigators about this tavern. They also sometimes have the dinners to debrief from other paranormal investigations. For example, there'll be paranormal investigations of Paoli Battlefield, and then they'll debrief at this diner. So you can, even if you don't attend the investigation, but you want to know the findings, you can attend a dinner at this tavern. I don't know why I'm saying diner. At this tavern, and hear about the findings. So it seems to be very involved in the community, both historical and paranormal.
Yeah, I certainly didn't know that. I was watching the TV screen so much just to catch it comes around once every, 5 or whatever minutes.
Yeah.
For the historical dinner. So
yeah, I
kept missing it.
Yeah, but it helps to go out with content creators, so when you're staring at something or taking videos of absolutely everything, they understand what you're doing. So I was really hoping to see or hear something while we were here. I don't know why I expected it to not be busy, but it was just so packed that I think it would have been impossible for us to differentiate disembodied voices from the other patrons, footsteps from the other patrons, etc. Or even if we had seen a full body apparition that could maybe pass as present day based on its clothing, we probably would have thought nothing of it because there were so many people.
Yeah, it was very packed. Is one of your fancy bullet points the one thing that we were seeing but quickly wrote off?
Yep.
Okay, I'll let you have it.
I will get to that.
Fine.
So we did try to experience as much of the tavern as possible with both of us and Matt and Hannah, again, of Horror Hour with the Hannahs, taking trips to the bathroom to see if anything paranormal happened in a quieter setting because the bathroom's off from the main dining room. And we tried to, walk around slowly. It got a little less busy the longer we were there. So once it got quieter, we looked around and walked around more. But now into the hauntings. The general manager, Cugliota, it's a last name, I'm so sorry if I butchered that, said that one night he heard his coworker moving throughout the building. He was waiting for the coworker to reappear and then finally called them asking what they've been doing. The coworker had actually left 20 minutes prior, which meant that Cugliota was alone in the tavern. And when he was interviewed about this occurrence, he was quoted as saying, quote, "If there are spirits in here, there'd have to be a zillion of them," end quote.
That's more than one for you viewers who aren't good with the maths.
I just think it's crazy that he so definitively felt like he heard someone walking around, that he was waiting for them so he could lock up, and it turns out he was in there alone.
That is spooky, but at least on a positive for him or her, whoever this was, it sounded like it was basically just locking the front door. So if that got real spooky, you could just be out really easily. You didn't have additional tasks to do.
Oh, I see what you mean. It's not like you have to sweep or clean dishes. You could just literally leave. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Patrick Byrne, who's a Valley Forge local, stated that previous paranormal investigations have indeed confirmed the presence of spirits here. They said that a typical investigation actually confirms anywhere from 15 to 25 different spirits, which is quite a lot. However, they are not all from the 1700s as you might think. Byrne went on to say that there are even some from the 20th century, and that all of the spirits are happy to be there, which I believe the 20th century part. I don't know if you could make a blanket statement that all of the spirits anywhere are happy to be there and positive spirits.
Yeah, I mean, so, yeah, 'cause happy is an interesting thing. Although we did talk about the, right over in the Poconos, the
Shawnee
Inn.
Or Skytop Lodge.
Skytop Lodge, that everyone, the ghosts seem to come in for a party and then leave.
I don't remember what you're talking about.
Maybe I'm conflating an entirely different episode. I don't know. But it seems like sometimes we talk about where there are ghosts that appear for a good time and then leave as of to relive their happy memories. I kind of understand that, but yeah, to say 15, 20 ghosts and they're all happy to be there, that can be tough.
It's just a lot, especially if you're not able to pinpoint who the spirits are. I know if you're thinking of one of the Pocono episodes, there was the couple on the golf course, but I think you could definitively say that they're happy to be there because it's easy to identify who they are. I think it's challenging if you can't communicate with every single individual spirit and catalog them in some way to say that they're all happy to be there. I mean, that's just, again, spirits are in death as they were in life, and that's like saying everybody is happy to be at a restaurant in any given time. It's just statistically unlikely.
Right.
So I thought that was interesting, but I do think the 15 to 25 is very interesting. That's quite a lot.
Well, that was going to be my next question is, how do you know that there are 15 to 20 ghosts? How do you distinguish between each ghost? I'm not saying that there's not 15 to 25 ghosts. It's just very interesting. Most places that we've covered, you can cover, the episode that we just did recently, there were, 6 at Wineberry? Wineberry. Oh my gosh.
Thornberry.
Thornberry.
Falls. There was like
Ooh.
8 or 9.
Yeah.
But that's because they can definitively say this. Somebody has seen this apparition. It's the spirit of a girl. They've seen this apparition. It's the spirit of an old man. So you can catalog it in a way. And I couldn't find anything like that on this location, where it said I could in fact find no information on distinct spirits here.
Right. And this is not me like bashing on any of the paranormal investigations. I just don't know how you do it. Mm-hmm. Because even if it was like via like shadow figure, they're shadow figures. Mm-hmm. They all, a lot of them look the same or very close because of the nature of just them being a amorphous shadow.
Well, yeah, I think in a single investigation, you might be able to pinpoint the differences if they're in different locations, if they're communicating in a different way, answering questions differently. You might be able to get to the bottom of it then. But I think being able to say across multiple investigations, oh, this, for example, old man is different than this old man would be very challenging unless you had, like, the name of the spirit, for example.
Right, like EVP would be...
Exactly.
That'd be very helpful if you got like multiple names and say, okay, so there are probably multiple ghosts.
Yeah.
And perhaps that was how they did it.
Mm-hmm. And maybe, but there were no written up intensive details on any of the paranormal investigations here. Which makes me think of the meme from Lord of the Rings, like, all right, keep your secrets. Because that's how I felt researching this. It's like, there are regularly paranormal investigations here. No results posted anywhere.
Do you know who said that to who?
Frodo.
To?
Bilbo.
No.
Dang.
Gandalf.
Frodo to Gandalf. I should have known. Gandalf was my favorite. Anyways, back to the spirits here. So visitors have reported seeing shadow figures out of the corner of their eye, seeing flashes of lights, and getting chills. I will say, the lights flickered at least 7 times when we were there. And the first time that it happened, Matt and I looked at each other because we were across the table, like, did you just see that? We were like, oh my gosh, no one's reacting. Did that just happen?
And then I feel like I was doing surprise Chris Pratt face, but, you know.
And then it just continued to happen. So ultimately, we chalked it up to old wiring.
Yeah, because it kept happening so regularly, it was like, this might be just something wrong with the electrical. That or the ghosts are very happy to let us know. But you know, there's no way we could have proved it one way or another in this case.
Yeah, no way of knowing. And also, it could have been that they had so many people there and the circuits were overloaded. There could have been a ton of reasons the lights were flickering. But it was like the whole front bar dining area, so it was really freaky the first time it happened.
Or conspiracy theory, they installed something to make them flicker like that.
I highly doubt
Add
that.
to the ambiance of the haunted tavern.
I highly doubt that.
I know.
So visitors have also reported hearing footsteps while alone, which again would have been very unlikely to happen while we were there, but I could see it being a really echoey building, so if you were there alone, I could see you easily being able to hear things.
Yeah. Because it has quite a high ceiling for
and it's
a restaurant
wood.
or a tavern.
Yeah. It's all wood, too, so I feel like it would, like, bounce. Initially, the tavern was going to be converted to a sports bar, but once renovations started, there was a large increase in paranormal happenings. Posters were removed from walls overnight while the tavern was locked. Ladders were folded up and put away when the crews would come in the morning, and there was no explanation because everything, again, was locked up at night. So the renovators started to feel that the spirits that were there were becoming unhappy with them, and they switched the renovations and shifted the theme back to the colonial style and back to a historical focus, hence the history dinners that they have now. And all of the strange happenings ceased once they did that.
I personally think that's a way better choice. Like, how to make your place stand out. Yeah, be like a cool colonial tavern with history versus like, you know, cookie cutter sports bar.
Yeah. Well, in Valley Forge, there might be a lot, though. There might be a lot of colonial taverns in Valley Forge.
And we should go to all of them.
We should. I mean, there are a few others in the area that are on our list for, us to investigate. But that is all of the hauntings of Black Powder Tavern. We did ask Horror Hour with the Hannahs if they had any paranormal experiences, and they said no. Knowing all of the paranormal happenings, would you go back?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Easily. I would do an investigation there. I would do just back to get food again. I would do it all.
Yeah, I would love to go for a history or a paranormal dinner. And I think it would also be cool to go do an investigation at another location like Paoli Battlefield and then have the debrief dinner at this haunted tavern.
That sounded so cool.
Yeah.
Just because like everyone's going to be going through their materials and be like, oh my God, I think I found this. Or like, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and from my understanding, it's like a paranormal expert will collect everything and analyze it and then present you the concrete findings, where you can't have things like, oh, this is not an EVP, it's someone talking in the background. Like, they would pre-debunk everything and then only present the solid findings. So I think it would be super cool to go back for many reasons. And I think there's a lot more to explore in Valley Forge, historically and paranormally.
I'm getting a giggle out of that poor man's job, or person's, I should say, job of going and debunking all the evidence, because I'm assuming it's not like a small amount. Like this is like days, if not weeks, of information.
I'm sure
to go through, and it's like, nope, that is clearly Leroy talking in the background. He's literally right behind you in the video talking to you. That is not EVP. Like, no, that is not a ghost orb. That's Leroy's flashlight.
I mean, we always say that as people in the paranormal community, it's important for us to debunk stuff, because if we're putting fake evidence, or, not even fake because that's not fake, but if it's not, I don't know, if there's a possibility that someone else could point it out, then it's important for us to take the step and remove that first, because if people are going to ever look at it as a science, then people in the paranormal community have to take the first jab at removing stuff.
Yeah, you do have to look at it through a skeptical lens first, which is why I consider the skeptical one.
Yes. All right, that wraps up Black Powder Tavern. Definitely go check it out. We would love to go back. Tons more to explore in Valley Forge, so stay tuned for that. And tune in next Thursday to see what history and hauntings we discuss next.